Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly. Along with Josh, I'm Lyle. And Josh, we're missing a partner tonight.
You're not going to know what to do when you have all three of us or have both of us up on the thing anymore. I mean, I took last week off. I wasn't feeling good. I come back this week. Chad goes, well, since you're back, I'll go. So
yeah, well, it's kind of like a vacation for me, I guess.
It's kind of like Bruce Wayne and Batman. We might be one and the same.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. How's it going tonight, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, bud?
Not too bad. I know you was sick last week, and then you had a tournament with the one and only Danny Stone this weekend.
There is something nice about fishing out there on the boat with Danny Stone. You are, even if you don't do too well in the tournament, you are going to have fun.
Hey, that's why you go.
It's an absolute blast being out there with him. So,
the rest of the stuff that happens on tournament days are kind of a bonus. Having a good time, catching a couple of fish, that's what it's all about.
That's where it's at.
So,
let's see.
How many we got in here? Do we want to move in?
We got 31 in here so far. Let's see. Go back up here to the top. Starting out, we've got Miss Pontoon Jody Catfishing. We've got Junior Proctor Blue Dog Fishing's in here.
Glad to see Junior in here.
Kentucky Catman Kentucky Catman Outdoor Adventures. Hey, Jim. Burrito Catfishing Lady. We got Mark from Catfishing Crappie, who's also a channel member for 39 months. And he says Lyle for president. I could support that. I could get behind that.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Let's see. We have Crappie Day Darren. We've got Tom, channel member, Tom from LG Bass. Let's see. We've got Lance McCouguy, the Hawaiian fisherman, catch fish with us. There's Chad.
Oh, he did.
From Fields to Water. He just didn't want to be here, is what it is.
Oh,
we've got David Smith, Schmieder of the Cedars, Brad Becks, Joe Buck 66. There's Kevin from Palmetto Cats. There's Verlina Smith. David Hughes, Northern View Outdoors. Greg Burgess. And I think that gets me down to the bottom. So if I missed you, I apologize. So say something else in chat and say, hey, you missed me, and I'll call you out, because that's about how it works.
And if you come in late, then we'll still acknowledge you if we see you in here. But just remember, sometimes chat gets a rolling around, and
it does get going sometimes. I see Gene Tillman's joined us. There's John from Real Time Catfishing.
Hey, John, Gene. Yeah, they'll continue to pop in as we go along. But in the meantime, Josh, I have the results for the Master Bait and Tackle Catfish Tournament over the weekend. Was held August 17th at Salamone. And we'll do the top 5. Hugh Herbert and Lockridge. 5 fish for 28.61 pounds. I'm guessing this was all channel cat, no flatheads. That was 4th place. Sorry. 5th place was Newbie and Messersmith. 5 fish for 25.63 pounds. 3rd place, DeBusk and Valencina. 5 fish for 33.94 pounds. How close them weights are, Josh. 2nd place, Zion and Builderback, which won $160. 5 fish for 37.38 pounds. Big fish and total weight winner, Brad Becks and his son. Remember his son's name, but it's Becks and Becks. $340 won. 5 fish, 39.25 pounds, with a big fish of 11.17 pounds.
Awesome.
That paid $100 for that one fish. So them guys had a good time. I know there was at least 10 places that they sent me. So 10th place was 1 fish for 7.10 pounds, which for channel cat tournament, that's pretty good.
That's a good channel cat. So
yeah. So it looks like everybody had a good time, and them guys got it going on over there. I'm glad to see Brad and his son win that tournament.
Yeah, congrats, Brad. He's in here, or at least was a minute ago. So
Yep, I'm sure he is. He sends us some tournament results every time they have a tournament over that way, and it's great to see his name at the top of the page. Oh, and there's Jody in here. You know, she was the first one in there.
She was the first one in tonight.
She something about her being able to tell everybody else that she's first. She really enjoys that and kind of rubs it in on them guys.
I think next week when I create the stream, as soon as I create it, I'm just going to say first, just to mess with her. Just
she won't let you count.
No, it won't count, but we'll try it. We did have a few more come in while you were giving the tournament results. We'll say hi to them. We've got channel member James from Cool Cats Fishing. We have Butterflies and Sunshine, Benoit Fishing Outdoors. There's Randy Old Gray Hair Swain, David Hughes. Let's see. Yep. Brad's still here.
Yeah, good deal.
And Brian T. She said, I quit saying first.
For suckers.
Well, Lyle, we've got an interesting topic tonight. Now we
do
44 people coming in here, seeing some regulars and some people we haven't seen in a while. So maybe we got that going on. But it seems like within the past maybe year or so, lithium batteries, as far as trolling motor batteries, they reached a point that they're affordable now.
Finally,
it took. I mean, they've been around probably every bit of a good 5 years that they've been hitting the market pretty hard.
Yeah,
but they were out of the average person's budget.
That's right.
But we're starting to see the ones come over from Southeast Asia. Some are good, some are not so good. But that's a good thing about YouTube. You can usually get on and find a review of the battery and see how it's doing. But what we want to talk about tonight is things that you need to consider if you are thinking about making the swap over to lithium batteries.
Yep.
Oh, let's see here. You guys blowing my phone up over there or what?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. There we go. All right, so let's take a look. I got this PowerPoint tonight too. We'll see if it shows
That's
up.
awesome. I want to welcome Junior Proctor in. Junior had a little surgery the other day before you get started. We're really glad to see him in chat tonight. Great friend of mine, and we want to make sure everything's good with Junior.
Let's see here. Present. See if it'll let me do it. There it goes. Boom. It didn't want to let me in for a second.
Wow. Can't have that.
But like I said, we're going to be talking about the differences between lithium and lead acid batteries, specifically the considerations that you need to look at if you're thinking about making that switch. Right off the bat, before we get going, I didn't even put it in the PowerPoint, but I want to address it. Don't use one as a starting battery. Don't think you're going to replace your starting battery with a lithium iron phosphate. There's all kinds of information and horror stories of why you don't want to do that. Just take my word on it right now. Until they get everything lined out, even a lot of the, I know Mercury is starting to get their outboards where they will support some, and they have a very short list of lithium batteries that they support that won't void your warranties. So these batteries are made for runtime and capacity. They're not really made for for starting your outboard. Say, there's Danny Stone.
There he is.
Been working on the air conditioner. Says he's melting. You're going to need it.
Yes, very much so.
So lead acid batteries is what we've all been running forever. And there are some advantages to sticking with the lead acid batteries. They're safe, they're stable, provided you don't short one of them out by crossing the terminals. The odds of having anything catastrophic happen to your lead acid batteries is basically non-existent. They're reliable in all temperatures. So if you've got a boat, if you're big into duck hunting and you're out there in the ice cold every day, lithiums can handle it. There are lithiums that are self-heating. There's heating options for them, but a lead acid battery, you can take it out and throw it out there, and it's going to work. Lead acid batteries are cheap. They're about $100 for Group 27, a little bit more for a Group 31, depending on what you buy, but they're not overly expensive, and they're available almost anywhere. If you're running lead acid batteries and it comes tournament morning and you've had a battery die, you could run in Walmart, you can run in Rural King, you can run in any auto parts store, grab you a lead acid battery, be back in the ball game. So there's, that's something that is definitely a benefit to having them available almost anywhere, is you can get one and replace it.
Yep.
Lead acids, if you're running a 24, 36 volt system, it's preferable to have the same make and model of the batteries, but lead acid batteries play well together, even if they're not the same make and model. You can get by with it. It's not the best thing in the world, but you can get by with it. So now let's talk about lithium. Why would we go to lithium? Number one reason, lithiums are lighter. They are on average about 25 pounds all the way up to 30 or so, where your lead acid batteries would be 75, 80 pounds, sometimes even more. Lithium batteries, faster charging, and you could give a partial charge to a lithium battery and still get that performance out of it. So if I have a lithium battery that's sitting at 50% and I charge it up to 80, I could still go from 80 back to 50 without an issue, where if I put a surface charge on a lead acid battery, it may look like it's sitting at 80%, but it's really not. And once I start drawing some current out of it, it's going to drop back fairly quickly back to where it was. So lithiums are longer lasting. They're most of them now. Used to, you would buy a lead acid battery, a marine battery, and you would have a couple year warranty. I mean, 2-year warranty was standard. You'd have a year of free replacement, and you'd have a year prorated. And then they dropped it down to a year. And I think the last lead acid battery I have had like a 3-month, 6-month warranty, something like that. They're not giving warranties on these batteries anymore. The lithiums are, even the budget models, you're looking at a 5-year warranty, and it's not uncommon to find some of them with 10-year warranties on it. And so that's
amazing.
Right. And to know that you're going to, you have something, and if you're making that investment, paying a little bit more and going to lithium, it's nice to know that you're going to get your money back out of it. So if I'm buying a lead acid, I get about 5 years out of my lead acids. If I can get twice that out of a lithium, it justifies the cost. So more usable capacity. This is probably the big one. A lithium battery is capable of using 100% of its rated amp hours. So if you have a 12 volt, 100 amp hour lithium battery, you're going to be able to pull 100 amp hours out of that battery before it reaches a 0% charge. On a lead acid battery, you're able to get 50% of its rated amp hours. So 100 amp hour lead acid, when you've drawn 50 amp hours out of that battery, the battery is basically at 0% charge. See a question in chat there. Let's take a look at that. How come when I buy a marine battery, it doesn't have wing nuts on it, but an automotive battery did?
Somebody might have stole them off of it.
Somebody might have pulled them off. I haven't seen them put a wing nut on there in a while. They typically put those nuts on there, but they're 5/16 coarse thread. If you buy 5/16 coarse thread wing nut, stainless,
1/2 inch wrench will fit them, or battery pliers.
Yep. So you're good to go there. And chat is flying a little bit, guys. If you put a question, if you have a question you're wanting to put in chat, throw some asterisks or something to begin with, and I'll try to catch that there. So
if I see the question, I will pop it up to where Josh can read it. But I'm not going to promise I will see them all either.
we'll give it a shot there, and once we run through this, if anybody has any questions, we'll address those too. But if we catch them in the middle, we'll jump on them. Lithiums have a much higher cycle life, and that's where your that's your charge and discharge cycles. Lead acid batteries rated for 300 to 400 charge discharge cycles. After they've reached that point, you're starting to look to get to the end of the usable life. Lithiums, most of them you're going to see a 3,500 charge discharge cycle. Some of them even more than that. If you think about it, the battery in your phone, you charge it every day. The battery in your phone's a lithium battery. You charge it from half or whatever to full, and charge it every day, and you keep your phone for 2 or 3 years. You're good to go there. So let's see. Once I had an app, turn the battery off and check the life. Some of them do that. A lot of them do have a Bluetooth option. There are some with display screens on the battery. I've actually tested out 2 of the ones with display screens, and one of them was fairly simple. Showed the voltage of the battery and how much capacity it had left. And this one most recently that I had an opportunity to test, it would show when you were charging it, it showed how many watts were coming into the battery. And anytime you were on a discharge cycle, it showed how many watts were going out. And it would a lot of information on that screen. So, but we're talking about battery charge levels, and I wanted to include this chart. The chart at the right is you can see a fully charged lead acid battery will present a voltage of around 12.6 volts, 12.6, 12.7. You can figure 100% state of charge. And as that battery discharges, you're going to see the voltage will drop fairly uniformly, and it's dropping down 12.5, 12.4, 12.3 on down. And once you get below 12 volts, you're starting to get into the end of your charge. And once your battery drops below 11.3, it is effectively discharged, and any further current being drawn from it can actually damage the battery. You're starting to look at sulfation at that point. Chris.
Funny man. Funny man.
So once that gets down to the end, your battery's discharged. You keep trying to pull from it, you're going to damage the battery. There is nothing on the lead acid battery to prevent you from damaging it whenever you're discharging it. So if you run that thing all the way down to 0, you can run it down far enough. If you get it down below 10 volts, a lot of your newer smart chargers is what they call them. A lot of your newer smart chargers will not even detect the battery at that point. They won't throw a charge to get it back up to where it needs to be. And so you have to trick that by throwing a voltage in there that it can see, and that'll get your charger going. But we can take a look at the lithium charge level by voltage. And you can see that a fully charged lithium iron phosphate battery is going to show a voltage of 14.4 after it's finished charging. And once it's completed charging and it comes to rest, you're going to see 13.6. And it's not a typo on there. 14.4 and 13.6 are both considered 100%. So once it comes to rest, after you've had it off the charger for a little while, it's going to come to rest about 13.6, and that's your 100%. And the voltage on a lithium battery doesn't tend to move as much as the battery discharges. So you'll have fairly constant voltage, and then you can see as it gets down to the bottom end, it drops in a hurry. The thing about the lithium batteries, when the battery reaches a voltage threshold, when you've reached the end of your usable capacity of your battery, the battery management system that's inside that battery will detect it, and it will cut the output of the battery. It'll stop output of the battery. That way it prevents damage to the cells. So if you're running along, if you've seen any of my videos, I've put 2 of them out now where I've tested these lithium iron phosphate batteries. Or on my, both those videos are on my channel. One of the tests that I do is a extended runtime test where we run a trolling motor from 100 and run that battery from 100% all the way until the BMS cuts the voltage. And if you watch that, when it gets there towards the end, you'll have 10.5, 11 volts, and then it just drops to nothing. And that's when that BMS cuts that voltage supply off. Absolutely.
Makes sense to me.
Let's see, how much new battery charger costs per card to charge? You know, you can get them. They have reached the point where they're affordable as well. You can. I picked up a battery charger at Menards back. It's probably around Black Friday this past fall, and it will handle 12-volt flooded lead acid. It'll handle AGM, and it'll handle lithium. I think I paid like $25 for that charger, and it's an 8-amp charger. I picked up a 10-amp NOCO, was around $100, but the version before that NOCO put out that didn't charge the lithiums was still around $100. So they really haven't increased their price, but you will, and we will cover that here in a minute. You will need to look at, if you have an older charger, you may have to look at finding a new charger, because like I had a 4-bank onboard NOCO charger on my boat. When I made the switch to lithiums, that charger wouldn't support lithium. So I went in and bought another 4-bank NOCO charger. It was less than $300 for that 4-bank charger. I don't remember exactly what I paid. You actually don't need to. If you lithium batteries like to sit, if you're going to be storing them for an extended amount of time, store them somewhere between about 40 and 80% charge. If you're sitting and, constantly topping them off, they don't like it. And obviously, if they're sitting down, to the point of being fully discharged, they don't like that as well. 40 to 80%, top them off every once in a while, let them sit, and you're good to go. And we are going to cover wintertime stuff on the lithiums, because there are some specific concerns for those. And there we go. Lithium batteries, they are more affected by extreme temperatures than their lead acid counterparts. Charging or discharging the batteries during extreme heat or cold can damage the battery. This is where the internal BMS, the internal battery management system inside that battery, comes into play. They will have sensors to prevent thermal damage to the battery. So if it's too cold or too hot, it will actually prevent you from charging the battery, or it'll prevent you from discharging the battery. And so that's something to consider if you fish a lot during the winter. You are going to have to look at either a self-heating battery, or there are some solutions out there to warm the battery up. That way you're not damaging the battery, and you'll actually be able to get your voltage out of it. And going into the chargers, lithium, the reason you have to have a new charger, lithium batteries charge and maintain a higher voltage than the lead acid batteries. As we saw in the chart, fully charged lead acid battery was around 12.6 volts. A fully charged lithium iron phosphate is around 13.6. So the older battery chargers, a lot of them aren't going to be able to charge the lithium batteries above a 80% state of charge. So your older chargers will work. It'll get it to 80%, but you need a charger that has that higher voltage to get you all the way up to 100. Those chargers are getting cheap. A lot of those companies that are selling the lithium batteries that are affordable, they're selling chargers as well. A coworker of mine bought a 24 volt, 100 amp hour lithium battery for his trolling motor, and he bought the 24 volt charger. He pulls his boat into the garage, he hooks his 24 volt charger up, he's good to go on the next tournament. All right, another thing to consider, a fully charged lithium battery has a higher voltage than a fully charged lead acid battery. And some trolling motors can be affected if you're running them at 100% power. Before the show, I was talking to Lyle about this. This past Saturday when I was fishing that tournament with Danny Stone was the first time I took the boat out since I replaced the 3 batteries in my 36 volt system with lithiums. Now, I knew from the past that running that 36 volt Tarova full tilt, I'd see a top speed of around 3.1 miles an hour. With the lithiums, I was seeing a top speed around 3.5. Now, I don't know how much of that has to do with having an extra volt and how much of it actually has to do with the 3 batteries that I had. They weighed 75 pounds apiece. The 3 batteries I replaced them with weighed 23 pounds apiece. So those 3 batteries together weighed less than one of the old lead acids that I was using. So we were lighter, had a little bit higher voltage, but I have seen, and you don't see it as much, but I have seen in the past people saying, well, I was running this and lithium's burnt my trolling motor up. You're probably running full tilt all the time. You don't need to run full tilt. Back it off a little bit. You're going to still get that same speed. You're going to get that same power. You know, you can run it on 8 as opposed to 10 and get what you're used to getting. And that's the truth. The new Garmin, the Minn Kotas, it won't hurt them with their new motors. The new motors coming out, Garmin or Minn Kota, Motor Guide, Lowrance, all these motors that are coming out, they're made to work with lithiums. They're not going to be an issue anymore. You're seeing a lot of brushless trolling motors come out. Brushless motors are excellent. The efficiency goes through the roof on them. The power goes through the roof on them. And they can sit there and chew up a lithium battery and just not miss a beat. So we'll close out. We'll take a look here at a quick comparison between the two. Lead acid, like we said, you're looking 300 to 400 charge cycles in a usable life of the battery, whereas a lithium, 3,500 plus. Lead acid, remember, you get 50% of the usable capacity in amp hours, and lithium, you get 100% of that usable capacity. So 12 volt, 100 amp hour lead acid, 12 volt, 100 amp hour lithium. On paper, the lithium should give you double the run time. Paper and real world don't always fall into play, but you will see a much longer run time with the lithiums. Lead acid batteries, a lot of them require maintenance. Even the maintenance-free ones, after a while, every time you charge a lead acid battery, you're venting off a little bit of that water. So these maintenance-free ones, they will burn up all their water, and you just have to end up drilling a hole and adding distilled water to it. Lithium batteries, no maintenance. You don't have to put water in them or anything. The weight, like we talked about, on average, probably 60 to 75 pounds on a lead acid battery and around 25 pounds for lithium. And there is a cost difference with lead acid being the cheaper of the two. Lithium batteries, sky's the limit as far as brand, but there are some good batteries out there that are not going to break the bank. I paid around $250 a piece for my lithiums I ordered for the big boat. And, there was I used discount code on it, got a little bit of money off there, but free shipping. I ordered them on a Wednesday and I had them by Saturday morning. So
that's fast.
It was fast. That gets us to the end of our PowerPoint. So if anybody has any questions in chat, let them roll now and we'll get those addressed.
Absolutely.
We kind of went through that pretty quickly. So
that's a lot of good information, though. Lithium is probably, I hate to say this because I really don't believe it in my heart, but it's probably going to be the future of batteries for boats. One of the big reasons is, as with any small engines, whether you're racing cars or whatever you're doing, weight is a killer to small motors.
Oh, yeah.
It just is. So if you can save 100 pounds on 3 batteries, that's a major deal. It just is. And the fact that they last longer, it's just a bonus. And you was talking about yours, 12 volts versus 14.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 more volts. It's got to put more power.
You're going to put, that would, I'd love to take, and just because I'm a math nerd and it's what I do, but I would love to take and put a photo tack on that prop and run that thing under lead acid, a fully charged lead acid battery, and then run it under a fully charged lithium and count that and see how many more RPMs you're getting. I'm sure there's a difference.
Great idea if you can make that happen. There's Creo. John Boys has joined us, Bugman 22.
So I just did the math and saved around 160 pounds
on 3 batteries.
On 3 batteries. So
that's a person.
It is.
I mean, it's not me and you, but it's a person on average.
Catch Fish with Us says we made the switch this year. The boat's about 250 pounds lighter now, and if I forget to plug it in, I could run an extra day or more.
Wow.
A while back, I'm trying to remember which, I think it was the lead time battery. I did a test of it on my channel. It performed well. I mean, that's what I ended up buying for my own boat, was the lead times. But I was talking to a coworker about it, and he was fishing a bass tournament that weekend. And he said he was wanting to order one of those batteries. I said, if you want to take the one that they sent me to test. I said, if you want to take it out and test it, you're more than welcome. See how it is before you buy one, see if it's going to work for you. He took that out. He told me when they would fish a bass tournament, typically he would have to bring 2 trolling motor batteries, and about halfway through the day, he'd have to switch. He fished a tournament out on Little Grassy Lake. It was windy that day. He was on the trolling motor hard. At the end of the day, that lithium battery was still at about 65 to 70% charge.
Yeah.
So he went from having to use 2 batteries to be able, he could fish 2 tournaments with one, on one charge. He ordered one that very next Monday.
Yep. Dennis, Northeast Missouri Angler, says, I ran 6 12-volt, 100 amp hour batteries because of night fishing and guiding. I went through lithiums, and now I have 8 and still 200 pounds.
Oh, wow.
That's a big difference.
Now, Creole, you, I want to say that Jeremy tried out the Go KWHs, which was that first one that I tested out on my channel. He ordered some of those. He'll correct me if I'm wrong, but they, that was the first one I'd had the opportunity to test out. That thing performed great. I mean, I haven't had one yet. Yeah, that is true. I had just got home from bringing those batteries home whenever we found out about that. So
yeah.
8 take up less. So got to have the lights with clients in the boat at night. Not to mention 8 take up less space than the 6 did. Yeah,
Everything's good. Everything, and we all hear horror stories. It doesn't matter if it's about batteries or cars or what it is. There's horror stories with everything, and I've seen some of the ones about batteries, but I've seen ones with lead acid batteries too in the past.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like everything you're going to have. If you get on Amazon and you look at the reviews, you either see 5-star reviews or you see 1-star reviews. Because the only people that take the time out of their busy day to leave a review on a product they bought on Amazon are the people that really love it and the people that absolutely hate it. That's the only people. The ones in the middle that, okay, hey, yeah, this thing does what it's supposed to do. It's pretty good, but they don't leave a review. Catfish and Dream's absolutely correct. No battery's perfect. They can all burst, explode, go bad. Don't arc them. If you arc one, it's ruined. I have heard that.
I have too.
Do not short one out. It will, you can fry that BMS. Now, the BMS is, let me sidestep this one for a second. If you are technical minded, the battery management system inside that battery is replaceable. The average user will not want to do that.
Brian was setting hooks across the ice, said lead batteries blow too. And that's a fact. I had one jump start. We used to jump start 6-volt tractor batteries with 12-volt automotive jumpers, cables all the time. Never had no problem. It only takes the one time that thing blows acid all over you and you don't forget it. Nope. And that's what happened to me once, jumping that old tractor, and it blowed that acid all over me, blowed the whole top off the battery. And you just run and flush yourself off with well water. Doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees outside, you still got to do it. And wash your face and hands and be glad you was wearing glasses that day. But it happens. It just does. Only takes a spark.
Looking at 922's question here. It said, I run 2 circuits, 1 for house, 2 for troller. Would you recommend a 24 with a converter for 12 volt? That's a tough call. You could probably do. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, because you can go from 24 to 12 fairly easily. That's a tough call on that one. I think it would work. I don't think there'd be a problem with it. I mean, if I'd had the room in my boat, I would have gone with the single 36 volt, 100 amp hour lithium. I just don't have the room in my boat. The way I have to maneuver the batteries, I would have never gotten that one in there.
Jeremy says he replaced 4 Group 31 12-volt batteries with 2 100 amp hour lithiums, and they last much longer. I've yet to run them dead in a fishing trip, and they charge much faster.
That's saying a lot from Jeremy, because we know he has a current down there.
He does have a current down there
at his end of the river. So, yep, that is the first thing before we even started the PowerPoint. That was what I led off with. Do not use it for starting your big motor.
But that'll change at some point.
It's going to change. A lot of what causes problems with that is your electric start outboards. They have a charging circuit. They have a rectifier in there, so that when you start your motor, while the motor's running, it's recharging your starting battery, and they're not designed for that. They're not putting the voltage out that you need, and the lithiums aren't designed for that giant amp draw.
Here's a great statement, Josh. Verlina Smith says, I can run 100%. I can say 100% across the board in my house to the boat are all lithium batteries, all rechargeable. Haven't bought anything else in years.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That's a big deal right there.
Only battery I've ever seen blow up was a 12-volt lead acid. I've seen pictures where I mean, like I said, any of them can go under the right conditions.
That's right.
But let's see. It's already changed. Almost all manufacturers have starting lithium already. That's good. I mean, that's a matter of time before you start seeing those.
That's right. That's right.
And I can't help but wonder on some of these, like let's say you've got a John boat with a 10-horse outboard. That starter motor turning over that 10-horse outboard isn't drawing any more than your trolling motor.
No.
Could you start it? Probably. Should you? No. So there's a big one right here. Creole says he's run his Tarova at 8 and 9 speed for 6 hours straight without failure.
Big deal there.
That is
big deal.
And that's, yeah, starting lithiums are lots of money.
Well, as the others was when they first come out, the price of them will come down.
They'll come down.
You just got to wait your time out.
Bugman, we kicked him out this week. We wanted to do technical talk, so we kicked Chad out. But no, he's Chad's taking a well-deserved week off. So,
yep.
There's a big one. Don't mix size or branches. We talked about this with the lead acids when I talked about how they were available anywhere. Mm-hmm. You can go, and like I said, lead acids play well together under the best circumstances. If you had a 24-volt system, you're going to run two of the same make and model battery. But you can have two different ones in lead acid, and it will work. It's not the best thing to do. It's not best practice, but it will work. Do not do it with lithiums. They do not like each other. Yeah. If you're going to run multiple lithium batteries, they need to be the same model, same manufacturer. You know, order them at the same time even.
There's Fishing Fever. He wants to know about the Temu batteries.
I like that there. Start the 9.9 with my DeWalt drill.
Well, there you go.
That's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Curious how long I've seen them on there, and my dad the other day sent me a link to one. He's like, I'm thinking about buying this, and we've not gotten anything horribly bad from Temu, but support. I can email a lot of these companies that have at least a presence in the U.S. I can email them, and I can get a response from them, usually within the day, sometimes within a couple of hours. I don't know that if I was having issues with my Temu battery, I don't know how I could contact the manufacturer or whatever that's selling that, whether you would actually get a decent response or if they just, tell you to go pound sand. But
yeah, our good buddy Mark with Whisker Pig Fishing says he can tell a big difference. Recently spent 3 days dragging on Santee, never plugged them in till they got back home. They finished just as strong as they started. That's awesome. A big deal because when Mark goes fishing, he's usually out there most of the day, and he's on that motor a lot. So that's a big deal. And by the way, if you guys haven't checked out Whisker Pig Fishing videos, be sure to do so. There's a new video out today. It's really, really good, as all of them. So give him a subscription and watch some videos.
Let's see. That'd be carefree. They will punch you and not think. And we got stereo discussion. The lithiums have made it into the stereo world too. So,
I seen that post while ago, but I wasn't sure enough about what he was talking about.
yeah, they're talking a lot of it. We're starting to see some stuff in there about competition amps and everything. So, definitely that higher voltage is going to give you more wattage out on your amp. So,
well, I mean, that's what you're looking for. I forgot who it was that made the post a while ago about something about them, but
Smart Shore Marine, they have a lithium combiner that will let you charge lead and lithium with the boat alternator. That's good to know. That'd be a good, because I could tell you, I'm thinking about, I found me a spot in front of my driver's console in the back of one of the rod lockers that I could put me a 12 volt, 50 amp hour lithium. And I am really thinking about picking one of those up and using that to run my electronics and all that. So then the only thing that would be running off the starting battery would be the starter for the outboard, the bilge pump, the aerator, power trim, that kind of stuff. But all my electronics, yep, just about what Jeremy said he's doing. 50 amp hour lead time lithium for my GPS system at work. Performs great. It's been beat around the back of my truck since last year with no issues.
There you go.
I will say this: when Dad and I went down to Mississippi, when we got down there, my uncles were already down there, and they come out to help us unload the truck. I asked one of my uncles to grab that battery, and he kind of looked. I said, "Well, pick it up," because we had one of the lithiums down there with us. He picked that battery up. You know, of course, you're expecting a big, heavy John boat battery, and suddenly the thing flies up. But we ran that whole time we were down there. I think I charged it one of the last days we were there, and really didn't even need to. We had trolled all over that lake, and we were still 80%. I will say this. He always funny. I've been trying to get Danny on the boat for a while, and Parker keeps getting jealous and stealing Danny and putting him on his boat and everything. But we were running around looking for some spots, and I was taking it easy. You know, wide open throttle, I turn about 5,800 RPM. And so I'm running about 4,800, just kind of cruising around looking for a spot. We come off plane one of these times, and Danny was like, he goes, your boat's faster than Parker's. And I said, I haven't even opened it up, buddy. We're just cruising. We're not. Power wave they produce much cleaner than lead with standalone battery for electron. And that's the big thing. That would be a really good thing to show your voltage coming off of your rectifier, coming off your charging circuit on your outboard. A lead acid battery acts like a big filter, and it will smooth out that voltage ripple, but it is still there. And if you have a separate battery that's not being fed by that outboard alternator to run your electronics, if you put that on an oscilloscope, you should just see a straight line. DC voltage should be a straight line with no variance. You will see minute little pulses if you watch a battery while the outboard's running. If it's charging that battery, you'll see that little bit of a pulse.
Greg Burgess says he's finally able to walk in his yard. No rain for 2 days.
I think we're going to be wishing we had some rain here in a day or two. So
yeah, a week or so for sure. I know that the next 10 days here is going to be mid to upper 90s, so it's going to be kind of miserable.
Now we're under a excessive heat warning at least through the Wednesday evening, but I don't see it. I see them extending it. They'll be at least through Thursday.
Oh.
Austin says, I bought a new trolling motor off Temu yesterday and got a bilge pump and 100 three-way swivels for free. Absolutely.
Yeah, we would love to have
on that.
We would love to have, when you get that all together, why don't you give me a call and we'll get you on here and you can tell us all about it. That'd make a great show.
That would be a good show. I like the mom sent me a link the other day. She's like, did you know you could buy outboard motors on there? And I said, yeah. I said, I'd seen them on Amazon before, but.
Here's a good statement. Mark says, I run 12-inch, two 10-inch Garmin's, an NMEA network, a network hub, power GPS antenna, and a live scope on a 50 amp hour 14 lithium for 2 days.
Nice.
That's really good for a 50 amp hour battery. So if you can go 2 days, and Mark goes out, he's usually out for several hours. He's not just going out for 2 or 3, 4 hours and come back in. He's either all night or most all day. And so
I tell you what, I have been anxious to get these batteries swapped out. Even if I'd went to even if I'd gone with 3 new lead acids, either way, my old lead acids were at the end of their usable life. And it didn't take much to go from 100 to 0. That's Mark, though. But but I have purposely been avoiding getting on the river anywhere with current, with the way those lead acids were acting, because they were done for. So new batteries mean I get to go back out on the river, which is where I've wanted to be.
That's right. So. That's right. Greg Burgess said he's had over 52 inches of rain this year.
He said what?
52 inches of rain this year.
Holy cow.
No, I'm surprised he ain't boating around his yard. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, him and I talked about this a little bit a couple times, but I didn't know it was that much. That's like going up to North Dakota or somewhere. That's the kind of snowfall they get for the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
You know what I did? You know what I did notice tonight is just how many people in chat have already made that swap to lithium.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I didn't think there'd be near that many.
I mean, it's.
Well, you know, and there's a lot of ways you look at that. One for me is all my batteries are good, so why should I replace them until they go? Mm-hmm. Now, in my boat, I have 2 batteries in the back that are on a Perco switch, and they run different things, but basically they are starting motor batteries. If one goes dead for some reason, I can switch over to the other one, and it's fully charged and ready to go. And I want to keep that set up like that, because you never know. You can run one down, or bad connection, or anything can happen. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to have that second battery in there. The other thing is I run trolling motor batteries. Now, mine is a 24 volt, and I am very intrigued with the 24 volt single battery. Have to change chargers and all that stuff, which I'm understanding that, but there's nothing wrong with the ones I got. So until something does,
I wouldn't.
We'll decide, you know.
It comes down to spend your money wisely. If you have good batteries, and unless you just want to throw some money around, yes, lithiums are an upgrade, but get your money's worth out of your lead acids first.
Yeah, wait till they go bad,
And that's what I did. I've been waiting for a while. I've been wanting to switch over, and I got absolutely all my usable life out of my lead acids. And I said, one way or the other, I've got to change something now. We're going to change it. So
yeah, that's the perfect time. I have a spot under each. Mine has dual consoles, and under each one is the setup for 2 12-volt batteries run in series, where you get your 24 volts. Mm-hmm. Both sides have wires running up to the front of the boat. You can wire it up where you just do the switch and you can go from one side to the other. I don't want that much weight in there. My batteries are right at 100 pounds apiece. They are,
Oh yeah.
they're really, really, really hard to get underneath that console. And with bad shoulders, you got to lay down,
Mm-hmm.
turn them sideways, shove them in there, hook them up, stand it up, and then put the other end behind it. Now, if you have lithium, one single 24-volt battery, each side, less
Mm-hmm.
weight, more power, I can see a huge advantage
Oh,
of
your
that.
runtime would go
Yeah,
through the
I
roof.
never run the batteries down anyhow, but if you had two of them underneath there to weight, because you had 200 pounds on one side plus me, that's a lot of extra weight right there. If you wire them up and put one under each side, you're balancing out the boat. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to weigh less for two
Then
of them.
it started out with.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see an advantage to that.
Creo says he switched when two of his lead acids failed and said didn't really cost much extra to switch over at that point. It really doesn't. If you think about it, the 29 HM battery that I was running, to replace it was $169.
Mm-hmm.
I paid $260, around $250 to $260 for my batteries. So I paid an extra $100 a battery. So I mean, it's
The biggest deal
$300 more, but longer life. So
the biggest thing I see as the difference is you have to upgrade the battery charger.
no, you
Because
shouldn't have to change as far as like your trolling motor wiring or anything. You shouldn't have to change when you're switching.
no, the wiring should be fine. But
Is
the battery charger won't work, so you're gonna have to upgrade that. That's so it's gonna cost you a little bit to upgrade, but I think the value versus what you're receiving for that is well worth it.
I mean,
God,
it
I hope
doesn't.
my batteries never go bad.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to change your wiring, but I mean, if you've got good wiring, I've got six. Trying to remember, I've either got 4 or 6 gauge running from the battery compartment all the way up to the trolling motor. So, and it's good marine tinned wires. So,
Yeah, and then that's a lot of people don't know there's a difference between regular automotive type 12-volt wiring and marine wiring, but there is.
yeah, get the tinned wire. It definitely worth it. Copper wire, bare copper will soak up water like a sponge.
That's a fact. Mark, you're so right. But on one side of me
You just
lives
need to move closer to me or Chad. Either one.
an older woman lives on one side, and the lady lives on the other side. He's like 87. And they're not going to be much assistance. Oh man.
Oh yeah, and that's the big thing. Check, factory wiring on boats. Maybe it's gotten better. It used to not be that great. They would throw a 10 gauge wire. They're going what they can cheapest they can get away with.
Whatever the smallest is that will carry the current.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean it's the right stuff. But I've got rolls of number 2 gauge.
Yeah, 4 gauge will handle just about anything you'd ever want to throw at it.
Yeah.
4 gauge won't break the bank. It's pretty easy to work with, but we can make a whole nother show out of wires. So I mean, that's
Absolutely good.
Lyle is the youngest, oldest angler out there. He can handle the heavy weight of the old school batteries.
It's hard to do, buddy. I'm telling you. It really is. These 2 shoulder surgeries that I've had shoulder surgeries on both shoulders, and laying down is bad enough. But when you're trying to wrestle, you got a hole this big to put a battery in that's like that, and it'll go in there, and then 2 of them fit in there. But it's really hard to do, and then you got to hold it up with one hand and put the wires on with it laying down sideways, and start everything, tighten it up, and then stand it up, and then put it's a bitch. It really is. But they're out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no issue there other than 200 extra.
That seems like an opportunity to just brainstorming here that, take a grandson out to eat, and hey, I'll take you out to eat, but you're going to change my batteries for me.
He's bigger than me. He couldn't get in that spot. Hell, Damien's 19 years old. He's a head taller than I am, bigger all over. I mean, he's a big guy and don't know anything about mechanical stuff at all. I mean, he'd probably try to help me, but he wouldn't.
Oh, yeah. Well, Lyle,
there's Christina.
Yep, she's in here. She reminded me that she's probably getting attacked by the children right now. About an hour is as long as she can keep them tamed, and then the wild comes out of them. So that's probably my reminder. Both of them, and they play off one another. So
I see.
Yeah, so it's probably my friendly reminder that that's my kick in the seat to wind things down. But since we have 2 bragging boards to watch tonight, maybe it's probably a good idea that we get to that. So
I'd say you're right. Let's do that.
Oh, Creole. Stealing your fishing partner from you permanently. Jerry's a bad dude on the river. Jerry is a bad dude on the river. You ain't wrong. So Oh, hold on. Let's
how come she don't have one?
She's got a new account. So if you can take care of that, I don't think I can do it.
Let's see if I can figure out how. I know I can.
Yeah, we upgraded we paid for the YouTube premium, and I went ahead and upgraded to the one that gets you you get 4 or 5 different accounts, so everybody in your household can have an account and not get ads. So
try that, Christina. See if that doesn't work better for you.
Let's see if that works there, and we will start out. A couple weeks ago, we had the bragging board not want to up. It was when we were tying catfish rigs, and it would not. Yep. It said it had uploaded, but it wouldn't process. So we have got that one now. And then we've got the board for this week. So let's take a look at those 2 real quick.
Howdy, folks. It's time once again to take a look at the Catfish Weekly Bragging Board. This covers through the week of July the 15th, 2024. And it's been hot out, so this is a rather short bragging board this week. Leading us off this week, we have Larry Lisenby from Old Boy Outdoors with his very first catfish, a 5.08 pound channel cat pulled from Crab Orchard Lake. Larry and Danny Stone teamed up and pulled off a first place win in the finesse tournament this weekend. Not bad for his first time catfishing. And our only other submission this week comes from our good friend Jody of Pontoon Jody Catfishing. The hot weather hasn't kept her from finding good fish, as you can tell from these pictures of blue cats weighing in at 30, 38, and 39 pounds. Great work, Jody. Thanks for sending us the photos. Don't forget, guys, you too can be featured on the Catfish Weekly Bragging Board. To be eligible, the fish needs to have been caught within the past 14 days, and we accept pictures of any species of fish. To get yourself or a friend on the bragging board, all you need to do is email your fish photo to pics@theweekendangler.com. Send us the information shown on your screen, and we'll get it on the board for you. Thank you all for watching. Have a great week.
That was cool that Larry got that first fish in there. And if you check out Danny Stone's channel, he's got a video. After that tournament got over, they went out and did some more, and they put that finesse gear away and got the big boy stuff out and started playing with it. And Larry actually got his first fish dragging baits too. So, and we have one more for this week. We've had a few more submissions. Let's take a look at those, and then we'll be ready to just about close the show out.
Howdy, folks. It's time once again to take a look at the Catfish Weekly Bragging Board. This covers through the week of July the 29th, 2024. Leading us off this week, we have a newcomer to the bragging board. Mason Stokes sent in this photo of an awesome-looking panfish. This fish is almost two-toned in color and is a very unique catch. Congratulations, Mason. Thanks for sending in the photo. Next up, we have Miss Jody of Pontoon Jody Catfishing with a 22-pound sturgeon she caught from the Tennessee River immediately after her Friday night show. According to James, this fish put up one heck of a fight, but Jody came out victorious. Great job, Jody. Next up, another newcomer to the bragging board. Jen Smith sent in this photo of her new personal best flathead catfish. This fish weighed in at 15 pounds. It's always nice to see flatheads on the bragging board, and this is no exception. Congratulations, Jen. John from Dead Sea Pirates Fishing sent in these photos of some massive blue catfish he recently caught. It definitely looks like the big cats have finished the spawn and are coming back out to play. Great work, John. Dylan from Dead Sea Pirates Fishing also found his way onto the bragging board this week. This awesome looking blue catfish is still showing battle scars from the spawn, but it is back out on the prowl and eating. Congratulations, Dylan. That's a great catch. Our buddy Austin from Fishing Fever sent in this photo of a very hungry 35-pound blue catfish he pulled from the James River recently. This fish absolutely inhaled a massive shadhead, as you can see in the second photo. Thanks for sharing the photo with us, Austin. Great catch. And closing us out this week, we have our good buddy James Dockery, who has seen all the largemouth bass that Lyle has been catching recently and decided to show him how it's really done. This fish weighed in at a little over 5 pounds and is one heck of a catch. Great job, James. Don't forget, guys, you too can be featured on the Catfish Weekly bragging board. To be eligible, the fish needs to have been caught within the past 14 days, and we accept pictures of any species of fish. To get yourself or a friend on the bragging board, all you need to do is email your fish photo to pics@theweekendangler.com. Send us the information shown on your screen, and we'll get it on the board for you. Thank you all for watching. Have a great week.
That damn Dockery just had to outdo me, didn't he?
I'm already getting a message from him.
I'm sure you are.
He had to have known. He posted. He sent us that photo. He had to have known that.
Well, he's the Bill Dance. He's the little Bill Dance of bass fishing's all I can say.
Oh, yep, I do have one. I do have one from Parker. I'll have to put in for next week's. If they come in a text, I have a tendency to lose them. But if they come in through Messenger or email, I can get them. So,
well, I'm quite sure that Fish was taller than Dockery.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty good. Oh, man. Josh, that's a great bragging board. You've done a really good job with both of those. Thank you so much for all your hard work you put into that.
We definitely had some fun tonight, and bragging board only works whenever people send me pictures. And there's been some good fish caught lately. So
there has. And I had some to send in and didn't do it, and I'll send them in for next week. How's that?
Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
Guys, if you have any questions about lithium batteries, I've got a couple videos on my channel. Getting ready to be another one on there. I tested out another lithium battery. That one should be posting sometime this week. And I'm trying to stay uniform on the way I test them, run them all through those same tests. That way, if you're making comparisons, let's face it, we don't, money's tight everywhere. Get the best bang for your buck that you can get and research something like this before you upgrade to it. So if you want, go over my channel, The Weekend Angler. Check it out. I've got those battery test videos. I put them through the paces. I've got a bunch of electronic test equipment. I've been working with electronics for 30-something years now. And I have all this stuff, so you don't have to buy it. You just get to kick back and watch and see how the test results come out. So
there'll be good videos. I'm quite sure the rest of them have been awesome. And the knowledge you have on electronics and batteries means so much to everybody that's in here. But Josh, I'm really impressed with the amount of comments and knowledge that was shared through chat tonight.
There was a lot in chat tonight, and that
Yeah.
was, there were questions being asked and answered that we didn't even have to touch because there were people in here in chat that were taking care of one another, and that's good to see. So
That is really good. We had a wonderful group in watching the show tonight. I'm sure there'll be several watching it as we go along. I know you've got things to do, so thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to tune in to Panfish Nation on Wednesday night, Chad and the boys on Thursday night, Jody and
Stan on Friday
Stan
night.
on Friday. I don't know what's going on the weekends. There's always something.
See,
And then we'll be back next Monday.
there's
There's a bunch of stuff going on.
There's always somebody live on every night now, which is a good thing.
For those that don't know, before we leave right quick, Jeremy with Creole Catfishing and Jerry Parker fished a big tournament down in Vicksburg, Mississippi over the weekend. Finished midway of the pack. I don't remember exactly what the number was. They done really good considering their trolling motor broke right off the bat, and they didn't get the bump or none of the stuff that they had in plans to do. So congratulations to them guys. I believe Jeremy told me it was his first tournament other than the ones that we do online. So to finish midway of the field and have breakdown, that's pretty amazing.
That's really good.
Congratulations to those guys.
Good
and
job,
that's all
fellas.
I got, Josh.
I think we're good. Y'all have a great week. Appreciate you watching tonight, and ask any questions that you need over on my channel. I'll be happy to answer about the batteries for you. So
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week.